As it is necessary to guard the mind from ignorance, so it is necessary to guard it from excessive empty knowledge and curiosity. For if the mind is filled with much knowledge, including that which is vain, unnecessary and harmful, it will become incapable of discerning what is good for our correction and improvement. Therefore, regarding earthly matters that are permissible but not necessary, you must treat them as if you were already dead. Focus your mind on yourself, and keep it far from all things of this world. Tales of what has passed, and knowledge of what is happening better, let them pass you by. Let the upheavals in various lands be as if they had never been for you. Even if you happen to hear about them, forget about them as quickly as you can. Here is what St. Basil says: "Let hearing news from the world be bitter food for you, and the teachings of spiritual people be sweet as honey." The prophet David says, "They told me of the mocking of the lawless, but they are not like your law." Love to listen primarily to spiritual matters, study and desire to know nothing except Jesus Christ and Him crucified, except His life and death, and what He desires from you. If you hold fast to this, you will do what is pleasing to God. And God loves souls that love Him and strive to do His will. Interest in many things is often the fruit of pride and nourishment for self-love. These are just traps of the evil spirit who, seeing that some have a strong will to live a spiritual life, tries to trip them up with curiosity, and thus gain control over their minds and will. Therefore, he inserts, especially in those who are more capable and inclined to philosophize, high and wonderful thoughts. And they, getting carried away with the pleasure of discussing lofty matters, forget to guard the purity of their hearts, to think humbly of themselves, and to overcome their passions. Bound by the chains of pride and self-confidence, they make an idol of their mind and little by little come to believe, without realizing it, that they no longer need the advice of others, so they resort to the idol of their own reasoning at every opportunity. This is a very dangerous and difficult to cure disease. The pride of the mind is worse than the pride of the will. For the mind is still capable of curing the pride of the will, but when it proudly convinces itself that what it thinks is best, who will convince it otherwise? Can it listen to anyone when it is convinced that it thinks more correctly than anyone else? And when it comes to the soul, through whom can a person perceive and correct the pride of the will, blinded by pride and unable to be cured? And then everything in a person becomes disturbed, so there is no one to apply the remedy. Therefore, it is necessary to wage war against the pride of the mind before it takes hold. Rise against it, control it, and humbly subject your thoughts to the thoughts of your spiritual Father. Be humble out of love for God if you want to be wiser than Solomon. If anyone among you thinks he is wise in this age, let him become foolish, so that he may become wise.